everyone, welcome back to my channel. Jessica here with Beauty and Baseball, and welcome to this edition of Clone Wars. Today I have my Shop Your Stash dupe of the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. This was requested by one of our viewers, and Amanda and I decided that we would love to do this palette. It's got such pretty oranges and purples. It's neutral and yet it's funky at the same time. It was really a lot of fun to dupe. So let's get into my stash that I used to create this Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette dupe. All of my shadows that I chose for my dupe are by Coastal Scents, so I am just going to give you the color name. Starting with the top row left, as always, because that's just the way I do it. It's the way I read a book, so that's the way I kind of do everything, is left to right, top to bottom. Spread the Love, I chose Peach Puff. And there it is right there. For peanut butter, I chose Peach Brew. For peanut butter cup, I chose Peachy Copper. Now onto the second row. For bananas, I chose Reef Sand. For peanut brittle, I chose one of my absolute favorite Coastal Scents colors, and that's Phoenix Sun. For the color Jammin', I chose Vintage Burgundy. Now on to the third row. For extra creamy, I chose Cloud White. For jelly, I chose Amethyst. And for Nuts About You, I chose Bright Tangerine. And there you have it. There are all 9 shades. I know that they are not exactly the same as the original palette. However, I don't feel like I need to go buy the original palette because I have so many shades in my collection that are close enough for my own personal preference. I'm not saying you shouldn't go buy this palette, especially since it's on sale right now, but if you're trying to reduce the amount of stuff that you have in your collection and you still like this palette, maybe you ought to go check your stash and see if you can get close to it. I know with all of these colors, I will be able to create very similar looks that I would if I actually had this Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. So this is probably a palette that I will not add to my collection. I am a big fan of Too Faced shadows. I do have quite a few of their palettes, but after a certain amount of time and after a certain amount of palettes, I feel like I'm getting very similar colors throughout so many of the palettes that I own, not just with Too Faced, but Urban Decay and just so many other palettes that I have. I just don't feel like I need to keep bringing in full palettes just because there's 1 or 2 unique colors in there. But that is just my own personal preference. I know a lot of people love to have different palettes because they're cute. I mean, some of the packaging is adorable. It's absolutely adorable. And I don't have that particular palette, but I've heard that it smells a lot like peanut butter, which everything peanut butter is better, at least in my book. But I'm not going to pay extra money for cute packaging or to have my makeup smell like food when I already have these colors in my collection. It's just my personal preference. That's what's right for me and for my collection. I would never tell anyone not to go and buy this palette because it's pretty cool. But if you're on a budget or you don't want to add any more to your collection, if it's already too big for your taste, just go ahead and shop your own stash and see if you can't come up with any of these colors yourself. I really hope you go check out Amanda's video. She is going to be linked down below as always. This Clone Wars series is really just me and her shopping our own stash to see if we can find duplicates for the palettes that we think we might like, but don't really want to go out and put in our collection. So go check out her video. I do believe she actually owns this palette, but she's of course duping it as well. So if I'm not mistaken and she does own this palette, I'm sure she will have the original palette and then the dupe right next to it, the way she did with the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette, because she's pretty darn good with her dupes. I'm going off of internet swatches, colors, stuff like that. And a lot of times she has the palettes at her house, so she can really, really find an exact dupe. So go check her out, give her some lovin'. I am actually filming this on her birthday, so happy birthday, Amanda. By the time this goes up, I know it's not gonna be your birthday anymore, but I am filming on your birthday. And my voice is starting to go because I'm still recovering from being sick, have terrible allergies. It's that time of year. So I'm gonna wrap this up. We do have quite a few palettes in the works for Cologne Moors coming up. But as always, we will take suggestions. If there's a palette that you want to see us dupe, just leave that in the comments below and we'll definitely consider it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until I see you in my next video, have a beautiful day.